California. Good afternoon, California. To the man Hungus and everybody at CU calls Doc. Doc, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing great, Doc. It is great to have you on my show. It's surreal at the same time. I know it kind of is for you. You're immediately the last memory of me is like, God, this shy 22-year-old slightly flabby kid has a show now.
Well, it's Don Carlos. Don't you
Don
remember?
Carlo.
It was never Carl. It was Don Carlos.
Hi, Don Carlos.
How can you be so big? How can you be so big?
Is that what you called him?
He called me Don Carlos.
Don Carlos?
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
We always had to have one character, that had inside ties to every group and organization.
So Doc,
Carl
when you were told that Don Carlos had a radio show, what was your reaction?
Well, I can honestly say I just regained consciousness, and I really don't remember a lot. I thought maybe that was one of those periods, to where you went to the hereafter, So when I did hear this, I had to take a moment or two, about 5 to 6 days, to be honest with you. Held up in a concentration-type camp to try to get my act together because it really tore me apart. You know what I'm saying?
Doc, do you still work out at like 3:15 in the morning before
That's
anybody
too late.
ever? That's too late.
That's too late. I mean, people that keep those kind of hours, why not, hang out at bars to that time? No, we start now. I start now. As I've gotten older, I found out that really that was late. Now it's 12:45. No, I'm not kidding.
I'm not. I believe. I
with me now.
100% believe you. When we used to have to do the Friday morning workouts, where we'd have to be in that weight room by 5 a.m. And sometimes guys would be like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to get here before Doc does. And nobody ever did. Doc would be there.
I'm listening.
So,
I don't know
why so early?
You know what? I find that that's peaceful, and it's a time to where I don't have TVs or phones or anything that's a distraction. I've been blessed to say that I really don't need the same typical type of sleep everybody else gets, and that when I do leave or did leave in the morning, in the night, it wasn't like there was a million TV shows or something. Spend time, do what I do, but I got my rest, and then I felt like that was the. If I'm asking you to do something that's very physical and tough, and to take one more step in a positive direction, then I felt like I needed to do that also. It would be unfair to tell someone there's no excuse. And, that's why the challenge was always on. We're going to do it the hardest. We're going to do it the longest. And if nothing more, we're going to win because we'll just outlast you.
Doc, do you ever just?
You guys did that.
Do you ever just? Reflect upon how many young people's lives you've influenced over the years. I mean, just in your 10 years at CU, you're a legend essentially.
Well, yeah, but you know what? And I tell you guys this, Carl. You know of all things. I told him I was always the luckiest guy in the luckiest place at the luckiest time. Now, if that's just luck, then I ought to be picking lottery numbers just as good. That's never the case. What it was, you had guys, both men and women, that bought in. And in doing such, we expected to win and to go after anything that there was a prize for. We wanted to compete and win it. So you guys would come in at the earliest point in the morning, always followed by women's basketball, which was followed then by skiing, followed then by distance runners. And they felt it was a badge of honor to be in that whole deal to where you guys were leaving, they're coming. And people were working. And I think that's why it was a mutual association of athletes that liked each other. I'm not saying it from the standpoint of a coach. I'm saying it from the standpoint the work ethic set everybody up to be achievers. That's pretty much it. And if you don't have that feeling, then you're in the wrong place.
Doc Kreis, former strength and conditioning coach at the University of Colorado, currently at UCLA.
Well, gone from UCLA now.
Oh, gone from UCLA.
Yeah.
But
you're still out in L.A., though, right?
I'm in L.A. I tell you what, I'm
You were
on
Mr. LA.
I've got a place where I've got some of the most elite young people and also just different types. I mean, right now, I got one of the top tennis players in the world, and I got one of the top actors in the world in here right now. And it's a different clientele. Obviously, we're playing for different prizes. One is an Oscar, and the other one is to be the top-ranked player in the world. Not one of them, but to dominate.
So
you change your gears quickly, but it's the same thing. It's no different than you guys. You don't want to be good. You want to be the best.
Damn right. Damn Skippy, Doc.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. I mean, you want great people on that motivate and get people to listen because you guys got the questions, and that's no different here. What I hope to have for them is a little bit of idea of what it takes to get better in what they do. And like I said, it's two different disciplines, but yet both of them have to be in it, vested with everything. They can't just be up to their nose. They got to be over their head.
Well, Doc, I kind of want to get your comments now on, your time at CU. It seems now things are going to be going old school. I think people largely believe that this is going to be a situation where in order for CU to advance ahead, especially going to the Pac-12, it's time to bring back sort of the Buff family, being namely Bill McCartney, I think is the leading candidate at this point. There's also names like John Embry, Eric Bieniemy. What does CU need to do at this point? I mean, you've certainly still at least paid attention to what's gone on since you've left here.
Yeah, well, you know what? I paid attention from the day in which I did leave. I mean, because you don't put in amount of time like this, Carl, to where you don't care. Yeah, you care. You care about whether you win. You care about whether you lose. You care about the type of people you put into your program, what they're willing to do in the right manner, in the right way. And you hope for the very best that all intentions are headed in that direction. So you watch, you listen. I had the great fortune of working again with John and with EB, both of them as coaches, both of them at UCLA. Is it sort of odd, and then I say this to you, the third year Carl Durrell's at UCLA, we go 10-2.
Yeah.
We win the bowl game. We have two double MVPs in the bowl game, which they're still playing. We produce in one period of time 9 first-round draft choices off of that. And I'm just saying this to you guys because it is sport. And out of that group, they are who's who in the NFL. There also was guys that were never recruited except by UCLA. His father had played at USC, and he becomes a first-team All-American defensive end, in which we just believed when he came to visit that he wanted to be there so bad that it was never going to be a day that he didn't work his hardest and his best to prove everybody else wrong. See, sometimes that's the motivation for young men and young women, is that they want to prove to the peers out there that you were wrong. You had me tagged wrong. Not only will I do the schoolwork, but I'll be something athletically you've never seen before. So Justin Hickman was the young man. He was from out of Arizona. He comes in, and from the day he hit that campus, he never stopped hustling. Well, there's a couple of hundred more that came through those ranks also at Colorado that had to prove to people that they were supposed to be there and that they were capable of playing against the best competition on any given Saturday.
Well, you've been around a lot of coaches. Has a guy like Bill McCartney is 15 seasons away from it? Is it too long? Has the game passed him by? I mean, I know you guys still talk.
Sharp. He is so sharp, and I still talk with Coach Mack. I mean, there's not and I shouldn't say like a long period, but there's never going to be a time go by to where he doesn't have a huge part. Well, he does. I mean, the reason I came to Colorado was Coach Mack. I mean, it was like I sat down with him. He told me about the program. He offered me the opportunity to come, and I've said this before to many people, was the money was better where else I could have gone. It wasn't about that. It was about the person. You have choices in life, people, persons, people, places, or things. And I was so impressed with Coach, and still am. He's an amazing man. Now, in saying that, he's also a conditioning fanatic. He's one of those people that not just takes care of his body, what he does food-wise and everything, but how he goes about it. And then last but not least, Coach is a committed person. He's made it very clear what his beliefs are. He's put it out there for you. You don't have to take it, but he's going to let you know that's his belief system. And in doing such, he is what he says he is. And in doing that, I never felt like there was one day in which we couldn't do things better than we did it the day before, because he instills that, and it was fun.
Well, if it
just stops being that way.
If it ultimately is viewed by the people making the decisions here that, you know, this is the best thing for the University of Colorado Athletic Department, is that we install the old school flavor, and it's an uprising of it. There's a little bit of a ground swelling of, you know, getting the swagger back, and if that formula of kind of going old school does happen, could you be a part of that?
I tell you what, not only do I believe that it's never really left, it just sort of got put away for a little while, and sometimes that's forgetting where you came from. And we see that quite often. You'll see somebody that you'll recognize, and you'll say that's a celebrity or that's a so-and-so, and you find out that they're so grounded because they're the same person that can tell you exactly where they were X years ago. So when I hear this, it makes me feel very proud to have said, these young men, these young women I got to coach, flip it around, that I got to coach and be a part of, from the standpoint of hopefully being a better teacher. And in saying that to you, yes, that I would personally take that as one of the greatest invitations to be a part of something, if asked. Yes.
Well, Doc, I thank you very much for coming on this. It's been a surreal 10 minutes with you, and I would love to have you on sometime more, just to give sagely advice and to tell the story about the swords.
Well, you know this, we will tell it, but also you guys have made this very much fun. And if there's any time, Carl, we can do it. I'd love to talk with you, and hopefully that your audience wasn't bored, and they find out a little bit more about how tough you were.
Yep. Hey, Doc.
Carl, you sacrificed for 4 years. We always had that same saying, is that if somebody owed you at the end of 4 years.
Doc, I got to run here, so we're going to continue on
Y'all
the next
know it.
time, okay?
Get out of here.
All right,
buddy.
Doc. I'll talk to you next
Doc.
time. Thanks.
We're Elephants in the Room.